Hi guys, Sandra here from Creating Space. Now I have my card base cut out. Now this is just going to be the interior of a card. What you do on the outside, that's entirely up to you. Now the card base is cut very slightly smaller than an A6 card, so this is European size. And I have my main cutout here. As you can see, it has two lots of tabs on it. One lot of tabs is longer than the other. The short tabs go in the base, so all we have to do is to slot them into the pre-cut holes. So that is the first bit. Now the next bit that I'm going to do might seem a little bit odd, but what I want to do is to make sure that there is something in the middle of there that is going to block off just a little bit in the center. And all I'm going to use for this is a tiny piece of sticky tape. So this tiny piece of tape that I've put here, I've got in the file, I've included this strip, which is 5 by I think 2.5 centimeters. And you fold over about 1 centimeter, and then you fold the lower edge to that, and then you fold that edge up. So basically what you'll end up with is a nice shape like that that can be put in the center of your card. So I'm just going to use some double-sided tape on this to stick it together, and we're going to stick that bit there to that there. So I'm going to put some more double-sided tape on this edge. Oops. Like that. Now the reason I put the sticky tape behind there is quite simple. If I don't put any tape behind there or anything to block it off, when the card is closed, it's going to stick to itself and it's not going to open properly, which is not a great idea. So I want to put that more or less in the middle. It doesn't have to be overly precise, but it's helpful if it's reasonably close. And just make sure that the tape is covering that area that you've made sticky by putting your double-sided tape on. Take another piece of double-sided sticky tape, and it's so much easier using that than glue for this, it really is. And just open this up and put that on this front edge. So you have one side at the back which has got the tape on, and this front edge which has got the tape on. You can flatten it to put the tape onto it, that's not a problem, like that. And you can leave that on there for the moment. You don't have to put it on and take the stickiness off yet. So the other tabs, the longer tabs, go through these holes on the top, and there's a fold line in the file. They go in up to the fold line. So if you pre-fold these, you'll find it quite easy to do. And then just to make sure that it all closes up nicely, flatten it all down. So if you're going to glue it now. So we now have our background cut out on the card. So the next item would be this decorative piece, which you can put in the base or not, as you wish. It's up to you. And then I've included some flowers that I've drawn. Now what I've done here is I've put a bunch of them together, and I have taped them together on the back, and then I lifted up the fronts and just put a little bit of glue to make sure they stayed flat. Now the one thing you must remember when you're doing your bunch of flowers is that it can't be any larger than this background piece, because if it is, when you close the card, it's going to show. So it can't be any larger, and you have to be careful where you position it. So the easiest thing to do is to line it up from side to side, assuming you want it central, and then to lay it down on the base like that, so that this is still within the card. If it goes like that, it's going to show. So you want it something along those lines. Then remove the backing from your double-sided tape. With that flat, you can fold it or shut. So make sure that's in place, make sure your flowers are where you want them. There we are. So they kind of float in front of this little decorative piece. Okay, so you can play around with the placement of your flowers and, you know, get them exactly where you want them, but these float, which is quite a nice look. Now, in regards to making the flowers, as I said, I included the files, and when you cut them out, you'll find you end up with these blanks as well. And if you want to, you can take a piece of foam and you can get one of these tools and you can just add a little more detail to them. And the other ones I've designed so that they have an outer line that you cut out of an alternative colour and then you just stick it on. And again, I've used a pen in this particular case to add some more detail. Now the pen I used was this Signo gold one. Now a word of caution about this one. The silver one isn't the same, but the gold one you really have to shake up before you use it. Otherwise you end up with orange and not gold. Okay, so really shake that up if you're using the gold Signo pen. And then the final touch for this would be to probably put some diamante in the centres. So here's the insert completed with the little gems and diamante bits. Give you a slightly closer look. There we go. And it just gives a really nice floating effect inside the card when it's opened. So it's really suitable for those special birthdays and anniversaries. I haven't included a sentiment. You can add whatever sentiment you so wish. But you've got the file for the floral elements, the leaves on the back, and the decorative backing to provide your floating element. So that's it. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.